All right, let's talk about that moment, that mini heart attack you get when your Windows computer just won't start. We're going to dive right into that today and hopefully turn that panic into a solid plan. You hit the power button and crickets. Or maybe you get some weird cryptic error message. Or worse, the dreaded blue screen of death. We've all been there. It's that sinking feeling, right? All your files, your photos, your work, it feels like it's all trapped inside that dead box. And look, that feeling is totally normal. But here's the good news. You are not powerless, not even close. Windows actually has this whole suite of built-in tools designed to rescue you from exactly this kind of mess. The trick is just knowing they exist and, maybe more importantly, knowing which one to use first. Okay, so before we can fix the problem, we gotta pop the hood and take a quick look around. To figure out why something's broken, it really helps to know how it's supposed to work in the first place. So let's do a quick and dirty rundown of how your PC actually wakes up. I mean, think about it, right? You wouldn't just start yanking on wires in your car's engine if you didn't know what a spark plug was. It's the exact same idea here. Understanding this basic startup sequence is going to be our roadmap to figuring out what went wrong and where. So the second you press that power button, a little 5-step relay race kicks off. First up is the POST, the Power On Self-Test. This is basically your hardware doing a quick health check on itself. If a memory stick is loose or something major is busted, the race stops right here. Next, the firmware. You've probably heard of BIOS or UEFI. It wakes all the components up, and its main job is to find the bootloader. The bootloader then grabs the baton and loads the absolute heart of Windows, which is called the kernel. Then the kernel wakes up and starts loading all the essential drivers your system needs to talk to your hardware. And then finally, boom, you see the logon screen. If any one of these steps fails, the whole thing just grinds to a halt. Now, knowing those steps is great for diagnosing a problem, but what if you could just sidestep the disaster altogether? You know, the single most powerful tool for fixing a startup problem is something you do before it ever happens. This is where a little bit of prep work becomes your absolute superpower. Man, this says it all, doesn't it? Waiting until your PC is totally busted is the absolute worst time to start thinking about how to recover it. Taking like 10 minutes right now while everything is working perfectly, that is your ultimate get-out-of-jail-free card. So what does this little digital insurance policy look like? Well, for pretty much everyone these days, the best all-arounder is a recovery drive. It's basically a bootable USB stick that copies all of your system's emergency tools onto a portable lifeline. So if your PC is so broken it won't even load its own recovery screen, this drive will. The media creation tool, that's a bit different. Think of that as the nuclear option. It goes out to Microsoft, downloads a brand new, totally fresh copy of Windows, and creates an installation USB from scratch. So the recovery drive is your first aid kit, and the media creation tool is the ambulance. You really, really need to make one of them. Like today. Okay, so preparation is great. But let's say the disaster has already struck. You've restarted it a few times, and now you're staring at a blue screen with a bunch of options. Don't panic. Welcome to the Windows emergency room. Let's go through the tools you have here in the right order. This place is called the Windows Recovery Environment, or WinRE for short. And honestly, if you see this screen, it's actually a good thing. It means Windows knows something is seriously wrong, and it's booted you into this safe little bubble, completely separate from your main installation that's just packed with repair tools. We're going to treat these tools like a ladder of escalation, okay? We start at the bottom rung with the easiest, least destructive fix first. Your first move always is Startup Repair. It's the big, friendly, fix-it-for-me button. Think of it like an automated mechanic. You just click it, and Windows goes off and scans for all the common stuff. Corrupted files, bad boot settings, and it just tries to fix them automatically. It's super low risk, and you'd be surprised how often it actually works. So just let it do its thing first. Now, if the automated mechanic comes up empty, it's time to fire up the time machine. You ever wish you could just rewind your computer to yesterday when everything was working just fine? Well, that's literally what System Restore does. It uses these things called restore points to roll back all your important system files and settings to a time when they were healthy. And here's the most important part, I gotta say this clearly, it does not touch your personal files. Your documents, your photos, all your stuff is safe. So what if the problem started right after a Windows update? It happens, you know? A recent update can sometimes cause a conflict. Before you do anything drastic, this is your next logical step. It's like a surgical tool that does exactly what the name implies. It yanks out the most recent update, which very well might be the troublemaker. Okay, you've tried the automated repair, you've tried the time machine, you've uninstalled the latest update, and you're still stuck. The first aid kit just didn't cut it. So now we have to climb a little higher up that ladder of escalation. We're getting into what you might call the major surgery options. Now, you've got two very different paths here, so it's really important to know the difference. A repair installation is kind of like a deep system cleaning. It reinstalls Windows right over the top of itself, fixing corrupted files while keeping all your personal data, your settings, and all your installed apps. A Windows reset, on the other hand, that's more like moving into a brand new empty house. The Keep My Files option is nice. It saves your documents and photos, but it throws out all your programs. You'll have to reinstall everything. And to remove everything? Yeah, that's exactly what it sounds like. It's a total wipe, a true last resort. And then there are two other heavy hitters. If you are one of those super prepared people and you created a system image backup, you can restore your entire computer. I'm talking files, programs, settings, everything, to the exact moment you made that backup. It's the ultimate undo button. And a lot of PCs from big brands have a hidden factory recovery option that'll put the machine back to the exact state it was in when you first took it out of the box. So after all of that, what is the single biggest takeaway here? It's this number. 1. Creating just one recovery drive while your PC is happy and healthy is the one single action that prepares you for pretty much everything we just talked about. It is the key that unlocks all these other solutions when you're in a real jam. So I'll just leave you with this question. Don't wait for the storm to hit. Don't wait for the blue screen. Take 10 minutes today. Literally, that's all it takes. Create that recovery drive and just give yourself the peace of mind that comes from being ready. Thanks for tuning in.